Since NES Open Tournament Golf in 1987, two opposite ends of the video game spectrum, Mario and sports, have gone hand in hand. In 34 years, we've seen the plumber take on many athletics, from tennis to soccer. Of course, golf is where it all began, which is why it's surprising that until now, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, a GameCube game from 2003, was the last console entry in the series. That said, Mario Golf Super Rush had some big shoes to fill, and while it's a welcome enough addition to the franchise, it certainly falls short to some capacity. As someone who prefers finite single-player experiences, Super Rush's adventure mode definitely appealed to me. Unfortunately though, its execution in many regards is somewhat sloppy. It mainly serves as a tutorial, and while that isn't necessarily a detriment, most attempts it makes to cover up this fact are in vain. The first issue is highlighted as soon as you begin this 5-hour journey. The house your character resides in is obviously meant to resemble the home of a protagonist and beginning area in many RPGs. However, unlike Pokemon for example, it's highly uninteractive. This house and every interior throughout the campaign exclusively serves as a backdrop, and anything you can interact with contributes to a greater cause. Likewise, once you leave the house, most of the NPCs that you'll encounter are superfluous, as their dialogue only provides quirky one-liners or repeats tutorial information. The world and its characters only exist to service the campaign's bare-bones plot about becoming a master at golf. Eventually, the story does transpire into something more ambitious, but the shift is so immediate that any sense of engagement to the narrative is undercut. Of course, gameplay takes center stage within the campaign because it is a tutorial. It consistently delivers on the trait present in nearly every Nintendo game, where the introduction and iteration of each idea is meticulously crafted. Every part of the world has a core gimmick spread across a series of challenges that culminates in a test of your skills from that area. In the starting region, the basics are introduced through a number of smaller challenges, concluded by a grand tournament. The next region doesn't overwhelm you, only presenting the concept of aiming your ball for multiple holes rather than one. Steadily, the number of holes increases until you reach the final challenge. New ideas like this are constantly introduced and innovated upon, but only to a degree that doesn't overwhelm the player. Towards the end of the campaign, when the story shifts for the worse, the gameplay remains intact as it recontextualizes everything you've learned for the sake of a more purposeful goal. While golf can only be so exhilarating in a video game, the manner in which mechanics are built upon within adventure mode is incredible. While the story, world, and characters aren't given much depth, it ultimately has more positives than negatives for its basis as a method of introducing ideas. That said, while adventure mode serves as an effective tutorial, I didn't have much trouble learning the ropes of the game diving into standard golf. It's a mode that I didn't expect to enjoy as much as I did because I assumed it would be boring. However, it's a shockingly potent balance of the sport of golf as it is with some Mario magic. The game's 6 courses all have unique attributes for this mode. To play on Ridgerock Lake, I had to learn how to deal with steep cliffs and use drafts of wind to my advantage. With Wild Weather Woods, I needed to time my shots perfectly to avoid getting struck by lightning. Bowser Highlands required me to aim my shots while avoiding lava. The overarching elements for the courses are consistent, and they're paired with recurring enemies and obstacles from the Mario games to make each course feel unique. However, these individual hazards don't effectively help to prohibit your golfing in this game mode. Although the many enemies in the courses that will prevent your shots from being perfect should serve as threats, they're barely noticeable. While I'm disappointed that the nods to other Mario games here are mostly present in the form of unnecessary hurdles, there's a great deal of depth to how shots are sent out using different clubs, and the courses are both designed to supplement that and be fun on their own for their broader unique ideas. Speed golf is what Super Rush gets its name from. It's like standard golf, except instead of teleporting to where your ball is for your next shot, you run to it. The name may lead you to believe that whoever gets the ball in the hole first wins, but that isn't the case. While the player with the lowest time will come in first, each stroke adds 30 seconds to your time, meaning precision is rewarded over speed. Those 30-second penalties do benefit the experience though, because if time were the only factor in winning, there would be almost no skill involved. However, I find it strange that speed was hammered into the mode's name, as it isn't the only attribute that defines it. In reality, it shouldn't be in the mix at all. The little skill involving speed here comes in the form of getting to your ball as fast as possible. All that really means is that whenever your stamina meter is green, you push down the R button to use a special dash, and if not, you must collect hearts to refill your energy. Although quickness is a fairly underwhelming gimmick, Speed Golf has some advantages, as all the courses from Standard Mode are present here and recontextualized for the sake of free roaming environments. The obstacles that go unnoticed in Standard Mode actually contribute to the gameplay, as they not only prevent shots from making it to the hole, but you as well. Even if Speed Golf is more interactive, it's hard to say which mode is better. Speed Golf forces players to engage with courses more, but getting good at it involves mashing buttons to go fast. While Standard Golf trims the fat of having to run to where you hit your ball, the hazards that are engaging in Speed Golf don't have that much impact here. Super Rush does feature one other mode, Battle Golf. It's a variant of Speed Golf that pushes the concept to its absolute limits by limiting the size of the course. It's a highly experimental and underthought combination of obstacles from the rest of the game. The goal is to get your ball into 3 different holes before anyone else. In concept, this idea enticed me, but its many physical hurdles served as hurdles to my enjoyment. There are chain chomps, womps, and thwomps constantly trying to prevent you from reaching the objective, and on top of that, other players can golf bananas and bombs at you. There is skill involved in movement and aim, but luck plays a large factor. It's very lacking, and the only mode here that I would say is genuinely bad. I can't deny that, for the most part, Super Rush is a fun game, but it is very uneven. The story mode excels in its gameplay loop, but everything else feels tacked on. Speed Golf is fun, but the aspect of it that involves speed is its biggest flaw. Standard Golf strips down some of Speed Golf's issues, but it also neglects the mode's high points. Nevertheless, I would recommend this game. While aside from Battle Mode, Super Rush is good enough, I definitely see it as a viable template for the upcoming free DLC and any other future updates to improve upon, and make this game more than just par for the course.